guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to show you how to make my marbled cranberry bread. It's delicious and so easy. This is actually going to be like a yeast bread, so it's perfect for your holiday table and great as an edible gift, you know, for your kids' teachers or the people like at the post office like I do. I'm one of those complete weirdos that also likes to give packages to the people who come pick up the recyclables and all that stuff. So edible gifts for me are just the way to go. Now let me take you over the ingredients so we can get started. You're gonna need some all-purpose flour, some whole milk, some warm water at about 115 degrees Fahrenheit, some unsalted butter, melted, plain old sugar, a pinch of salt, and some yeast. Now these are the ingredients you're gonna need to make the actual bread, and then I'll show you how to make the filling and then the topping. It's so good and it's so easy. I'm thrilled to be able to share it with you. Now I'm gonna do this in my big old KitchenAid because it's gonna knead for about 7 minutes, and I just don't have the upper arm, you know, workout strength today because I didn't work out today. So that's the real reason. Now let's get going to making the bread. Let's activate the yeast first, and we're taking our water, which, like I said, it's warm at about 115 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna take a pinch of sugar. Like I always said, the yeast likes to feed off something, so sugar works really well for that. And then just sprinkle over your yeast. This is 1 packet of yeast, or about 2 1/4 teaspoons if you have the little jar. Oh, you should be able to smell it. And like if it smells like yeast, then you know it's good. Now I'm gonna set that aside for a few minutes to activate, and in the meantime, in the bowl here of the standing mixer, I'm gonna add in my flour, and then the remaining sugar, and some salt. I'm just gonna give this a head start. Just combine it quickly. That's good enough. Now we're gonna add in pretty much the remaining ingredients, which is the milk, the melted butter, and the yeast, which has bubbled up really nicely. See how it's nice and foamy? That means the yeast is activated and it's good to go. And it'll take a couple minutes. Put this back on. Let it mix until it's all incorporated, and then we actually want to let this go for about 7 to 8 minutes, or until the dough is sort of really smooth, like a baby's bum bum, like you know how the cinnamon roll dough is and any bread dough. So let that go, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's ready. But actually get a bowl ready and just oil it with some vegetable oil or whatever. I actually use this oil spray. It works. I just need it to not stick. So get that ready, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. That baby is ready. Trying to get it out. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. It's really nice and smooth, not sticky, doesn't need any extra flour. I'm really happy with that. Pour it into a ball, put it into your oiled bowl, mush it around so that gets coated. Great. Cover this with plastic wrap and stick it somewhere nice and warm and let it rise for about an hour or so. You really want to make sure it's doubled in volume. Like I always say, the perfect spot for me is either in my bedroom or in the microwave, with the microwave not turned on, of course. So I'm just going to stick this into the microwave because I think that's a bit more appropriate. And I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. Now, while the bread is rising, it is time to make the cranberry filling. And basically what we're doing is making a cranberry sauce. So if you have leftover cranberry sauce around, or if you even have a can of that whole berry cranberry sauce, this would work great for it. Just don't use like the jelly kind, because then there's like, I don't know, I just don't like it. Anyways, in this little saucepan, it's actually a medium-sized saucepan, so it's not that little. I'm gonna put in my fresh cranberries, sugar, of course, because cranberries are super, super tart. And then a little tiny bit of butter, just to give it more of sort of a luxurious taste. And then the zest, the zest and juice of an orange. Another half. Trying to squeeze as much as possible. Awesome. Great, let me just give this a stir. Now this needs to cook for about, I would say about 12 to 15 minutes, or until the cranberries have popped, and then you want to put this into the fridge to cool completely, and then I'll show you how to assemble the whole thing. As you can see, my dough has doubled in volume really well. Now I'm going to just put some flour on my work surface because we're going to roll this out. Great. I have a 9x5 loaf pan there, sprayed really well with some nonstick spray. Now, just gonna punch this down. Oh, that smells so good. Okay, that looks awesome. We have the filling nicely cooled and a few additional ingredients for the topping, which is just gonna be some unsalted butter, all-purpose flour, raw sugar, and a little bit of butter melted here. So, got my dough ready. I'm just gonna roll this out into a big rectangle. That's it. That looks great. So now I'm just gonna take my filling and I'm gonna spread this out, but give like a 1/2 inch border around all the sides. Look at that. That looks great and smells fantastic. And then just roll it like a jelly roll, starting at a long side here, one of the long ends. Just like you're rolling a cinnamon roll. That's all you're doing. And then just make sure that you pinch the seam. Looks good. And then seam side down, you kind of want to put this bread in here in a zigzag motion, just like so. Looks odd, but it works. Just trust me on this. Make a few slits at the top. Brush it with the butter. Set that aside for just a minute while you just make the topping, which is, again, really simple with the butter, the flour, and the sugar. Doesn't have to be too perfect. You just want to get them all mixed together and the butter kind of distributed well in little tiny pieces. And just take this mixture and sprinkle it all over the top of the bread. And now you're going to cover this. Once again, I'm going to use a lint-free kitchen towel like this one. I'm going to cover it and put it in the same warm spot for about 40 to 45 minutes or until it's doubled once again, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's there. My bread has doubled up quite nicely, as you can see. Now I'm going to put this into a preheated oven at 350 for about 40 to 45 minutes or until you tap it and it sounds hollow. That's when you know it's done. And then you want to let this cool completely, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's there. My bread baked for about 40 minutes and I've let it cool completely before just putting it on a platter, and it comes out so easy because we sprayed that pan like it's no one's business. Now it's ready. I mean, you could smell it immediately, of course. It smells amazing. Now we're ready to cut in here. Look, actually I should cut probably right there so you could see a bit better. Look at this cranberry. You know I'm going for a really soft piece. I'm going for that right there. This tastes like $1,000,000. Delightful. It's ridiculous, it's not sweet. That's like what's funny to me, because we put sugar in the cranberries, we put sugar in the dough, yet it really isn't very sweet at all. And the cranberries have that tang that still comes through. You can definitely taste the orange in the background. It is absolutely delicious, and this would make a fantastic present for just about anybody in your life. It makes a great, great bread on your dinner table. And it doesn't just have to be your dessert table, because this will go great on your main course, around your main course as well. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me. Go to laurenkitchen.com to get this recipe. I'm going to continue to eat, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.